All right, guys, hi, good evening. And again, I want to wish everybody a blessed Thanksgiving, a day of gratitude, but a day to give us examples of gratitude in our hearts. Okay, I want to start tonight by doing a reading I picked from one of my meditation books, Each Day a New Beginning, which is a daily meditation book for women. And this is one of my favorite readings when it comes to gratitude. My life has been a tapestry of rich and royal hue, an everlasting vision of the ever-changing view. From Carol King. Every event of our lives is contributing a rich thread to our personal tapestry. Each of us is weaving one unique to ourselves. All of our tapestries are complementary. We need others' rich designs in order to create our own. We seldom have the foresight to understand the worth, the ultimate value of a particular circumstance at its beginning. But hindsight offers us clarity. It's good to reflect on the many circumstances that failed to thrill us. In all cases, we can now see why we needed them. As our trust in God and the goodness of all experiences grow, we'll more quickly respond with gladness when situations are fresh. No experience is meant for harm. We're coming to understand that even though on occasion we forget. Practicing gratitude will help us more fully appreciate what has been offered us. Being grateful influences our attitude. It softens our harsh exterior. It takes the threat out of new situations. If I greet the day, glad to be alive, I'll be gladdened by all the experiences in store for me. Each is making a necessary contribution to my wholeness. I really wanted to share that reading because I look at life and I look at the attitude of gratitude and connect it to life. Because life is this unbelievable journey. A journey that has its ups and downs, a journey that has its struggles. But yet it is a beautiful journey. And the journey is there primarily for us to learn, to grow, and to experience things in life. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is writing our own story. Each one of us is on the journey of life. As we said earlier, each and every day is another day on that journey. But gratitude is a gift, powerful gift. And basically, I want to kind of throw a theme out there today. It's called the attitude of gratitude, humility, acceptance, and love. It's a powerful mantra to be able to live by. So, Loretta, you got some things you want me to answer?
I have tons of things to answer. You know that. Okay, so we're talking about gratitude. Let's start right there. How can you turn a very bad time or trauma, like you do often when you talk about things that happened in your life that you're grateful for, but you don't wake up tomorrow morning and say, oh, I'm grateful for all of this stuff. You have to work through it, correct? You want to talk about those tools you need to use to get there?
Well, the tools, basically, we have to learn something which is really important. Every experience in life has two sides to it, the negative and the positive. And, we're human beings. At least I think we are. Anyway, we're human beings. And the bottom line is we have our ego and we have our spirit. Most of us, because of our own stubbornness and our own ego, we have a tendency to want to control things and figure things out. And so what do? We cause ourselves some pain. In time, with work, we're able to see the other side of it. Because I am convinced that every experience, no matter what it is, even the most horrible of all experiences, can have another side to it, a beautiful side to it. And yet, it takes time to work through these things, to work to the other side. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he brought up a point which is really important. One of the things I've learned over the years about relationships is that we have to basically take our time, go slow, learn, get to know one another, go through things. And this particular individual got burned plenty of times until finally he said to me one day, I think I figured it out. I said, what? He says, I'm learning how to take it easy. I'm working on a relationship right now. And right now it's only the beginning stages. We're learning how to be friends. We're spending time. And we're also learning to give ourselves our space. He said, it's a slow process, Vince. And I said, guess what? Everything worthwhile is a slow process. Everything has to be nurtured and developed, has to be learned, has to be connected. And unfortunately, we live in a world, and last time I checked, a world of insanity and craziness, a world that basically is on the outside. And we keep trying to figure that world out instead of just accepting it, that it's crazy and insane, and be able to look with inside to ourselves and realize the real growth, the real development is inside of ourselves as human beings. That's one of the reasons I have so much gratitude for the 12 steps and gratitude for the program of recovery. Because recovery has given me a gift. It's given me principles. It's given me the gift of life. It's given me a way in which I can literally now begin to live these principles and let them be part of my journey and part of what's going on. And that journey isn't easy. It's a powerful process. And that's why it's important, a little bit at a time. You know, now I understand what my sponsor said to me a long time ago. He used to say, Vince, just do that much. It's enough. A little bit here, a little bit there makes a lot. Everything goes slow, gradual. Be open to learn, be open to grow. Have an attitude of gratitude. Be careful for all, be grateful for all the things God presents into our life. We're going to experience loss. We're going to experience sickness. But it comes down to the fact, can I look at the sickness as a learning tool? Can I grow from it? You might say, well, that's kind of pie in the sky. Yeah, it is. But the bottom line is we have to be able to work through the things we have to work through. We have a human body. It's fragile. You know, it breaks down. And as you get older, you got to keep making changes all the time and be open to new things and new directions in life. You never know where it's going to come from. But if you have an attitude of gratitude, you look at things through the eyes of gratitude and you're grateful for the little things, not the big things. It's easy to be grateful for big things, but the little everyday things that we experience, that we go through, the little hurts and pains we work through, the little struggles that we go through, that's real gratitude. It's gratitude to be able to experience the things that we can do. Of course, you're going to have change in your life. You're going to move on to new directions. Things are always changing. Things are moving. You know, I joke about this, but I say, maybe I'll still be alive one day when we have that beam me up Scotty thing. So I can go visit Bill in Arizona in 2 seconds. But I don't think that's going to happen though. But the bottom line is, I realize that there's a lot of things we can't do anymore. Do you ever think you'd be grateful for things you can't do anymore? To say thank you, to look back with gratitude for the time you had with them. You know, I look back on my life, I'm so grateful for so much. For the people, the individuals that were part of my journey and part of my life. I have so much gratitude for that. And one of the things I've learned over the course of the journey is the importance of being able to learn from that and grow from that. God has said so many things, but the struggle was always there. Working for stuff, working through stuff, and sometimes even getting desperate, thinking nothing's ever going to happen. Change is part of the journey. So I really believe that we have to have our toolbox. And our toolbox means I have to have ways in which I am able to work through things. The slogans to me are a great way, all kinds of good tools. You know, simple things like progress, not perfection. things like one day at a time, easy does it, go slow, relax, and above all, remember, be grateful even for your mistakes. Be grateful for when we fall down. Then we learn how to get up. It's all part of the journey. Be grateful for the limitations of our bodies. Be grateful for the things we have in life. And I guess as I'm getting older, I'm developing a new mantra. And the mantra is, don't worry about it.
That you say to me 50 times a day.
I know. The higher power will take you where you're supposed to go. But it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. But I think we get so crazy trying to figure something out when the solution is probably right next door to us, right down the street. It's going to kick us in the face one day. And all of a sudden, wow, why did we worry? Why do we drive ourselves crazy? Why? Because that's what we do. We love to
Why
drive
do we
ourselves
do
crazy.
that? Why do we do that?
We
Why-
love to shut up. We love to drive ourselves crazy. I like driving you crazy.
You do very well.
Hey, come on. Everything goes where it's supposed to go, but it happened. But we just have to be grateful for whatever we have today in this moment. Now, you might say, well, I'm down and I'm out. I'm hurting like crazy. I got to be grateful for it. I'll tell you a funny story. I got stories. Okay. When I was growing up as a young kid, I grew up in an Italian family, and my mother's half of the family was a little nuts. But anyway, my cousin Johnny had a luncheonette that had no lunch meat in it because it was a front for gambling and money and stuff to that effect. And then one day he got warned that he was going to get raided. He put everything away. And then when the state police came, his little 5-year-old son yanked his father by the leg and said, "Daddy, I'll show the man where the stuff is. Come on." He ended up spending 90 days in jail and getting fined by the beautiful concept of his son. But he should be grateful for that, because his son was a gift from the higher power saying to him, hey, it's time to stop doing what you're doing and start doing things the right way. There's always a message, but sometimes you got to go through some struggle to get the message. And sometimes it comes from some of the strangest people in the strangest places. And I've learned that over the years. So many times, I want to try to get away with this and get away with that. And I don't like this and I don't like that. Well, you don't have to like it, but you have to learn from it. You have to be open to it. And that's where humility comes into play, to be open to where things go in life. Are there answers? No. Is everybody going to be happy? No. It's part of the journey. So you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. Sometimes you ask questions, why? Why did somebody lose a child at a young age? Children aren't supposed to die first. And then you have to ask yourself, there is no answer for that. But maybe it's just that child lived the life it lived, and now it's time for it to move on. I don't know the answers to these things. And none of us know the answers. But somehow, some way, we have to be able to work through it to get to that stage. I'm grateful for the short period of time that we had. Grateful for the moments. In my own journey, in my own life, I realized I spent too many years being angry at everybody, being angry at institutions, being angry at my parents, until I realized, as I worked through this stuff and worked to the other side, was it easy to do? No. I had a lot of help, a lot of people to guide me. And I truly believe, that we're guided by the Holy Spirit, that things come into our life when they're supposed to. And maybe my awakening came later, when I realized it wasn't about those things I was blaming. It was all about me. How to look at me and work on me and make the changes inside of me. It's so much easy to be able to blame. And yes, we're going to go through it. When you find out you have an ailment, you can't function the way you used to function. You get angry, you get mad. Good. But then after a period of time, you know what happens? You begin to adjust to it, because what you do is you learn to embrace it. I never thought I'd understand this, but Padre Pio said it so many times. A lady named, I forgot her name, Dorothy Day. A lady named Dorothy Day in the workers' movement way back in New York. She said something so beautiful. She said, sometimes you have to be able to embrace the poverty and embrace the struggle, so some way it can become something beautiful for you to grow from and learn from. I see all these powerful people, saintly people, simple people that taught so many simple little things of life. Thomas Merton told us so many times that no person is an island. We need one another. And that's where we're constantly on that journey of developing our new tapestry, of developing our new concepts of life. So everything fits into a spot one way or another. But it's going to happen in God's time, not in our time. It's crazy getting old. I'll tell you why it's crazy getting old. Because when you're young, you don't think nothing's going to happen. As you get older, you begin to see how the pieces start to fit. It's like we have this tapestry with 200 pieces floating around. And as you get closer and closer to the ending part of your life, all of a sudden you see the pieces coming together, fitting together, connecting. That means, why did I do what I did? Because you were supposed to. Can I accept it? Can I learn from it? I never thought I'd understand this. Can you embrace your hurt? Embrace your disease? Embrace your accident? Embrace different things and be able to come to an acceptance of them? Because I'm going to tell you, until you can come to an acceptance, can you come to growth? Can you come to movement? And that's a big part of gratitude. We're going to celebrate Thanksgiving in a few days. It's one day. We talk about gratitude on that day. But every day is Thanksgiving. It's only a sample for how everything should be. Each day, just to wake up, to be on this earth, is the gift of gratitude. I was taught this by the old timers in AA. They used to say, if you wake up in the morning, you've been given such a powerful gift, the gift of life for another day. Appreciate it, embrace it, do the best you can do. And yes, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up every once in a while. You're going to get angry. You're going to get mad. You're going to get glad. You're going to get a lot of different things during the course of the day. You may even have to go through some physical struggle. But at the end of the day, you made it to the end. Get down there on your knees and say, grateful. I'm grateful. Thank you for the lessons, for the experiences of today. Even though, guess what, God? Some of them I didn't like. But that's okay. I still went through them. I'm on the other side. Then go to sleep. When you wake up, you start again. And to be able to look at life in that very simple way. And that's the hardest part of the journey of recovery, the journey of life. You're going to get disappointed. Things are not going to go the way you want them to go. But can you accept that? Can you embrace it? Can you realize that, it didn't work? That's okay. And then you move forward from there. And you keep growing. And so we have to be able to constantly be redeveloping the tools, the ways in which we develop this. I get on my knees every day, morning and night. I have so much gratitude. I have gratitude for everybody in this room tonight. Because as I look around here, I see a lot of different things, experiences, things I've gone through with people. And guess what? Every one of the people I meet in the course of my journey has been one of my teachers. Even some of the people I learned some terrible stuff from were still my teachers. I still remember visiting the prison, going to the room for the building for the criminally insane, sitting down and talking to people. Even though they had done some pretty horrible things, they were still a human being. They were still a person. And I can still talk to them and be able to connect with them because they were just part of the human race. Did they do things wrong? Yes, they did. And they're paying for it. And we pay for it too sometimes. But we can't explain a lot of things. The world, people in our greed and our craziness, we do some crazy things. Then later on, hopefully, we'll come to the awakening, we'll come to the spiritual awakening, we'll come to the point of the other side and be able to look back and say, wow, did I really do that? I love my buddy Urkel from Family Matters when he says all the time, did I do that? Yes, you did. Now, what's the lesson you learned from it? How are you going to move forward?
And Vince, everybody's tools are different, aren't they? Or, yes, I know the 12 steps could be considered tools, working them. But so if you can meditate, that's wonderful. If you can't, there's another answer. Am I right?
There's all kinds of ways. Everybody has to find the way that works for them. I'm a morning person. I get up 4:30 every day. And I'm usually in my sunroom, in my chair, that they call it Papa's chair. I'm just sitting in my chair, reading my meditation books, posting on Facebook, doing the stuff I enjoy doing. I start my day off that way. It gets me going. It gets my juices flowing. But I'm a morning person. I don't expect anybody else to do that. So we don't get caught up in the fact that I've got the answer. I don't. That's the answer for me. That's what's working for me. Each one of us has our own story. We have to find out what works for us, how we connect the different things in the course of life. So no, there is no cookie cutter gratitude. There's no cookie cutter way in which we do things. We are all just human beings on a journey. And each one of us has a unique story. That's what's so beautiful about it. Every one of us has a very unique story. And your story is the greatest story on the face of the earth. Why? Because it's yours. You are the only one there is on the face of this earth. And therefore, you've got so much to give. But isn't it sad sometimes how we have to beat ourselves up and then learn what healing's all about? How we got to do it the hard way and then come back and work at it? And so the concept is I got to work through stuff in life. It's called life. It's called struggle. It's part of the process. Will I get out, without scars? Nah. Scars are necessary, by the way. I call them the scars of recovery, the scars of gratitude, the scars of learning. We'll have to go through these things in the course of our journey. There is no easy way. And those who think there's an easy way, it doesn't work.
So what do you do when you're stuck?
Well, when you're stuck, you have to have prayers of gratitude. What I've learned is when you're stuck, you have to be able to get to the point where you admit you're stuck. Then you have to say those very wonderful, fantastic words. Help me. We have to kind of eat our ego and be able to reach out and ask for help, ask for some direction, and ask for some guidance. Believe me, that's not easy. It took me a lot of years to start to say those two words. I'm learning now. I still got so much to learn. I still go to therapy. I still have to work with my sponsor. I still got to work through different things. I have to realize the importance of the 12 steps. I'll have to live them in my daily life. And that's why I always say, for me anyway, the steps are principles or ways of life. You're always in process of learning about yourself from them. So you're not done. Now, to get to that point, because let's face it, so many of us in our early years think we have the answers to everything. You know how many campaigns I was on, how many causes I've been involved in, the kinds of stuff and everything else. I was going to change the world. I was going to fix the world. I was going to save everybody, fix this, fix that. And then a very learned man and a very learned person said to me, "Would you please go home and look in the damn mirror and work on that person in the mirror? It's a full-time job. Leave the rest of the world alone." I said, "Oh, that was an awakening point. Because I don't want to look at me. You know why I don't want to look at me? Because I didn't need any work. How many 12-step meetings I went to in Al-Anon, wanting them to teach me how to fix other people? And those very strange people at Al-Anon kept telling me to work on me. And I told them I didn't need any work. Well, I found out later on, all these people that told me that over all the years, and it took 13 years to finally get through this thick Italian skull. But they were right. And all I can do today, I hope until the day after I'm dead, I don't know, continue to work, continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to experience new things in life. There's sadness involved in it. You know, I see people that have helped me tremendously over the years, and they're not around anymore. Their spirit is, though. Their energy is, and their memories are. It's connected. I go into the lecture hall and I look at all those names up on the wall of people I've met over the course of my journey. And I realize they're all my teachers. And I say thank you to them for the things they've done, the things they've planted in me, the little things I've learned here and there. And I have to be able to approach every one of those things, people on the wall, with gratitude. Some of them die young. Good.
Where does forgiveness fit in?
Forgiveness comes in one big way. The first thing we have to learn how to do is forgive ourselves. Only until you can forgive yourself can you forgive others. And that is so important to learn. Because the one person we've hurt the most in the course of our journey in life is ourselves. And we have to learn the importance of self-forgiveness. And self-forgiveness means once I'm able to look at myself and begin to realize the mistakes I've made, can I embrace them? Can I learn from them? I don't look back on my life today. People say to me, "Do you regret the priesthood? Do you regret this?" No, I don't want to regret any of it. I was exactly where I was supposed to be over the course of the journey in my life. And the people I've met, the people I've experienced, were all part of that journey. And I realize today, even some of the most horrible things that happened in the course of that journey, I can look back on them today and learn something from them. And yet you have to have an attitude of forgiveness, an attitude of healing. Forgiveness is another word for healing, making peace, bringing things to settlement in your life. Now, does that mean you're going to make peace with everybody in the world? Of course not. You have no control over anybody else. I can just work on forgiveness of myself and be open to forgive others for things they may have happened to me in the course of my journey in life. I always tell the story, and it's one of my most powerful stories. When I was a young priest, I was in a parish, and it was a horrible parish to be in because the pastor was alcoholic. The pastor, basically and fundamentally, was never there. And I was thrown into situations, I don't know what I was doing. How to run a parish, how to teach, how to do all kinds of stuff. And I mean, it drove me right into the ground. And I look back on that, I was so angry at him for such a long period of time. The gift of recovery, I was able to work and let go of that anger. And the beautiful thing, what happens when you let go, in 2011 or 12, I forget when it was, I got a phone call from him. He had joined AA and he wanted to meet me for lunch so he can make amends to me for how he treated me back then. But you know what? He made amends to me and I made amends to him for how I acted around him and the anger I carried towards him. And we hugged each other, made amends to each other. God sent him to teach me a powerful lesson. If it wasn't for him, I don't know whether I'd be in 12-step programs today. So I'm grateful. You know, unfortunately, he did die a year and a half later because he had done so much damage to his body. There wasn't much more they could do. At least he died sober, I'm glad. But the bottom line is, you learn from some of this unbelievable people. Sometimes the teacher is sitting right in front of you. This 12 steps have taught me to be open, not to be done. To experience powerlessness, what a gift. To be able to come to an acceptance of who you are and where you are, what you can do, what you can't do. To be able to finally, with the out of gratitude, to realize, hey, there's things I can't do anymore today. You know, I can't ref basketball, I can't hunt baseball, I can't drive in the dark anymore. All these things I have to admit to now. You know, so basically now that, you know, it's getting darker and darker and darker, I mean, his pajamas go on sooner and sooner and sooner. Because basically I can't function out there. So I have to wait for the things to switch to the other side. But the bottom line is, it's called adjustment. And that's the other spiritual word I talk about all the time. Once I can accept the situation, I can adjust to it. And adjustment is the biggest part of life. You're always making adjustments. You might be going along and things are working well, and all of a sudden you find out, wow, I've got a sickness or I got a disease or something happens. I have an accident, you know. I got this on my back. When I hurt my back, all of a sudden my life changed dramatically. You know, I had to live in a recliner. I had to change my lifestyle. But, you know, I look back on it now, and there were some good moments. I learned meditation music. I learned how to settle myself. I got people who helped me and do different things in different ways. You know, but now as you get older, you also have to be able to have a little bit of humility. Because my older daughter now, she yells at me a lot. You know, she tells me, don't do this and don't do that. Don't go here, don't go there. You know,
And I'm sure you listen to her all the time, right?
well, most of the time,
Uh-huh.
not all the time. But I mean, you know, I was going to go visit my granddaughter in West Virginia. I've driven to West Virginia. You drive during the daytime. She said, no, you're not driving anymore. We'll drive you. Okay. Don't you do this. Don't you do that. But I do it anyway. I just don't tell her. But the bottom line is, you know, I understand where she's at. See, as we get older, the kids start to worry about us. They worry about you getting hurt. They worry about you, something happening to you. You know, they get scared. And I tell them, stop worrying. Stop worrying. Everything will be okay. Everything will work out. And that's the beautiful part about life. Because I know now how to say those two magical words. You know, when I had to bring my lawnmower to get it fixed, I didn't pick the lawnmower up and put it in the car. I got a friend of mine, I called him. He came over and picked it up, put it in his car, and took it to the place to get it fixed. Because guess what? I ain't picking that sucker up. Now, the old me would have said, come on, I'll pick it up. And then I have a few aches and pains later in the day. So now you learn. And through pain, through struggle, through mistakes, through being able to embrace them and hold on to them, you learn from them, you grow from them. Your person becomes better as a result of it. Because then you realize, wait a minute, do I really want more pain? Then I'll pick the lawnmower up. I don't want more pain. I had enough. Now I ask for help. Ask for somebody to pick it up for me. So it's the bottom line. You have to realize that. And so you come to a point where change takes place in your life, but you do it with an attitude of gratitude. I never thought my wildest dreams I'd be saying things like I'm saying tonight. That I'm grateful for hurt. I'm grateful for pain. I'm grateful for struggle. Now, while I was going through it, was I grateful? No. But once I was able to work through it to the other side, I began to realize there's another gift. So many gifts, so many things in life. You have limitations. Do you ever get to a point where sometimes you think you have it all together, and then all of a sudden you don't? It's how it's supposed to be, by the way. Because once our ego gets up here, we have to balance it back down again. There's always that balancing taking place. So I've learned that even negative things that happen in life, yes, I'm going through traumas, I'm going through things in life. Even negative things, if I can face them and embrace them, I can learn from them. They happen for a purpose. So I really believe today we're on a journey. Do I like the journey every day? Nope. Some days I wish the journey would go away. But guess what? It doesn't go away. You have to walk the journey. So try to walk it in gratitude. I go back to a simple thing. Wake up in gratitude, go to sleep in gratitude, and when you're having a hard time, be grateful.
So Vince,
Learn from it.
the next couple weeks are going to be full of some good traditions, bad traditions. I think of AA with the 12 traditions also. Talk to us about making those traditions, enjoying those traditions instead of holding
Well,
on back.
like anything else, traditions change. I love Fiddler on the Roof when he sings about traditions all the time. Traditions have to change. Life changes. We have plenty of traditions in our family. When I was a kid growing up, we had to eat the 7 fishes. I don't like the 7 fishes, no, but I ate them. I didn't have a choice. We had all kinds of traditions and stuff. Now my traditions today are different. Things change in my own life. Even this Thanksgiving, things are going to be different. This Christmas, my wife's sister just passed away this past year, and she was mentally challenged in a group home, and she was our pride and joy because she was anywhere between 7 and 8 years old mentally. We had so much fun with her on the holidays. And she was always the center of our holidays. This is going to be the first time we're going to have the holidays without her. It's going to be sad. In fact, Carol and I were talking the other day, and Carol broke out crying because it's a sad time. And yet, I am so grateful for her, for the lessons she taught me, for the things I went through with her. She had that beautiful little stuffed animal, Oscar the Grouch, that she held all day and talked to her, and even at her funeral, I had so much fun. I love her. I miss her so much. I did her funeral. And at her funeral, I actually invited Oscar the Grouch to come to the funeral. So I took the stuffed animal, sat him in the front row. Then at the end of the service, I said, I got a message for you. I picked Oscar up and I said, Oscar's been talking to Dorothy, and Oscar has a message for all of you. Dorothy told Oscar to tell us to play her favorite song as we close out the funeral, the services. The song was I Love Trash from Sesame Street. Well, we played that over the loudspeaker, and that Undertaker's parlor was rocking with I Love Trash. And I sing that in my sleep now. It's totally amazing. But sure, she passed away from us physically, but her spirit is still here. It's part of life. That's why if you come into my office, you'll see Oscar sitting on my desk. You'll see Dorothy's picture right on my desk. I don't want to forget her. She's a big part of my journey. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for the ladies that live with her in the house. We used to go there and have parties and do kinds of stuff with them. I'm grateful for all the different situations in life. I have so much gratitude for so many things. And even today, you know, just to be able to be around people and be able to have friends, and just people to celebrate with and people to experience things with. You know, Memories are made this way. Memories are part of it. I can walk through the lobby of Starting Point. I look at a brick. I mean, you say, what was a brick? That brick represents a house that we have blood, sweat, and tears to work with so many men over the course of so many years to be able to help them to get back on their feet. And were they characters? They sure were. I mean, there were nights I had to climb up on the roof of the house because one guy was singing. He decided to go out and sit on the roof and serenade the neighborhood with his guitar. So I had to go up and sit next to him and talk him to come off the roof and come back inside the house again. A lot of funny things happened in that house. We had Big George, who was 6'9". He was tall. And basically, we ate in the basement of the house, South Philadelphia house, which was about 5 foot high. So George had to get on his knees in order to eat. We had all kinds of fun stuff and crazy stuff that we did. But that's what life's about. Each one of us is a character. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us has our little idiosyncrasies and things that we do, our imperfections. Isn't that great? It's wonderful. It makes life interesting. We're all different from one another. That's all part of it. And so, just be who you are. Celebrate your gift. Forgive yourself. Give yourself a hug every day. We have a tradition at our meeting, our Zoom meetings. We always give a hug. And we give a hug by, practice with me. Come on, let's go. Come on. Right in there. Give a nice hug. And then pass it out to everybody else. See how it works? See? Everybody got a hug tonight. It's fantastic. That's what it's all about. Give a little love. Some people might be hurting over different things that happen. Just listen to them. Give them some love. It changes everything in life. It's the little things that count. So all I want to say to you is try to keep that mantra in the back of your mind. An attitude of gratitude. An attitude of humility. An attitude of acceptance. An attitude of love. To me, that is so core. And I add to that, stop worrying about everything. Stop trying to figure everything out. Even when it comes to your kids, you know what? They're going to grow up and they're going to go do what they're going to do, even though you might have planned the most perfect thing for them to do, because you know exactly what they should do. They don't listen. Right? Right, Donna? They don't listen. So what do? They go this way, they go that way. And then you have to watch them go through their mistakes and their struggles and their hurt and their pain. Here we go again. It's all part of it. But it's part of life. I tell you. Because you know why? Because they're unique individuals too. I said this when I do codependency work. I could take 8 brothers and sisters from the same family, put them in 8 separate rooms, do a family history. I will come out with 8 different families because every child will perceive the family differently. It's all about perception, it's all part of it, part of the journey. And so you realize the fact, you can say Mom, they go to therapy. I mean, come on. Your kids go to therapy. Who are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about you. They're supposed to, right? Right, Les? They're supposed to talk about you. Who else are they going to talk about? You know, Mom did this, and Mom doesn't even remember that she did it. That's the fun part about the whole thing. You come down to it. And so it's part of the journey, it's part of learning, it's part of growing. The other thing I want to share with you for a good attitude of gratitude is sometimes you have to have a sense of humor too. Because, sometimes things aren't even funny, but they're still funny. You got to get through them somehow. Sometimes you just got to sit in the corner and go laugh. My good friend, Dr. Johnson, I still love him. He was a psychiatrist at Fairmont Hospital years ago. We had the rehab there. So down to earth. He used to say, here's life, he used to say. You wake up in the morning and everything's going wrong, right? At 12 o'clock, it gets worse. At 2 o'clock, he said, go sit in the corner somewhere and just laugh. It's cheaper than going into a psychiatric hospital. And you don't need an insurance card. Just laugh. And sometimes that's all you can do. It might be that ridiculous, but somehow you'll get through it. That is the amazing part about it. If you just use the tools, do the best you can do, you'll get through it. It's part of it. And so I'm going to close by saying something to Loretta.
Uh-oh.
I tell Loretta all the time, stop worrying. Everything will be okay. That's why I tell Michael the Archangel takes care of the place. Don't worry about it. Things will go where they're supposed to go. And I learned a long time ago, we're not in charge. Isn't that wonderful? It's wonderful. My favorite little saying is, it was a little thing somebody gave me. It said, God is driving the car. Stop being a backseat driver. God knows where he's going. Leave him the hell alone. When we keep trying to drive the damn car from the back seat. No, don't do that. It's going to go where it's going to go. So try to deal with it the best you possibly can. So with all that in mind, please have a nice Thanksgiving. I want to do a closing gratitude prayer tonight and just kind of send you off. And then when we come back in 2 weeks, we're going to do a 3-week series on the holidays and recovery. Connect them together. It's a big part of the journey. So let us pray. God, we come before you. We ask the God of our understanding, our divine presence. We thank you so much in a spirit of gratitude and love for the gift of life, for the gift of all the things that we have, for the gift of recovery. We have so many beautiful gifts in the course of our life. Thank you so much, Lord. I never thought I'd say this, but thank you for the struggle. Thank you for the hurt I had to go through sometimes. Thank you for teaching me to be open to learn, to be open to grow new things, to experience new things in life. Help me to face life with an attitude of gratitude. Help me to realize that there's so much I just can't be in charge of. And things have to find their way. Things that people have to go through their struggles. But you're there, you're guiding us. And somehow I know you're right there alongside of us. And every once in a while I know you have to kind of kick us in the rear end and get us back on the right path again. But that's okay. So I say thank you for my humanness. Thank you for life. Thank you for the journey. But above all, I am grateful for this day. For this day is the only day. Thank you. And I pray in gratitude today for some of the lessons I learned today, even from some of the struggles of the day. So we face each day with that attitude of gratitude. We face each day grateful just for the gift of the day and the gift of life. Teach us to be open and teach us to grow. We pray and we ask this, and we pray in the spirit of gratitude every day. We pray for this in your name. Amen.